Welcome to Tales from the Crib. I'm your homeboy horror, your horror homeboy, Dr. Savage. Tales from the Crib, where we discuss tales and things of mystery, madness, and mayhem. Welcome back to the Savage Patch. And it's your first time here, go ahead and pop a squad while we dig into this plot, alright? I would be remiss if I did not introduce my co-host, the Savage Sensei himself, Rufus. If you are watching this video and you are not emotionally compromised or bothered, and you want to keep your karma right and your skin tight, go ahead and hit that like button. You know, ain't no hateration over here in this dancery. With all things and all these stories, again, I tell y'all, I get the information, either I come across it or it's requested. To make sure you don't get stressed up in your chest, I'm letting y'all know I did not make this piece, I just delivered it to y'all, okay? Alright. So go ahead and get your libation because we do horror happy hour here. I'm sipping on water because right now I am on antibiotics and I cannot drink any Merlot. So I'm feeling some type of way. However, the show must go on. So I'm going to go ahead and just hydrate. I'm going to drink some good old H2O. Hydrate my skin, baby. Even though we talk about like some pretty, somewhat dark stuff, this situation will be a little different. So I stumbled onto this story by accident. Number one, I never heard of the story. Number two, I was shocked. As any typical kid, Disney was a part of my childhood as well. You see, I'm repping Belle, got my Mickey hat on and all that. This young lady's story, actually she'll be older than my dad if she was still alive. It's a story that needs to be told. I want to definitely memorialize her. I wanted her story to be told again. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and press play on this tale. On June 18, 1956, Deborah Gail Stone, better known as Debbie, was born to Bill and Marilyn Stone. She was the oldest of 5 kids. She was the only girl, was described as always bringing light and joy into everyone's life. Her parents even said growing up as a kid, she would make friends with anybody. She never met a stranger. And other kids in the neighborhood, she would always bring them home and ask for her mom to give them a cookie. By her father, she was described as a daddy's girl. While growing up, she was also very athletic. She was involved in sports such as the swim team, track team, excelled in school, both in academics and athletics. Graduated from high school, she graduated with honors, the top 10 percentile in her class, and she received an award called the Principal's Award. So Deborah was, again, pretty much, I hate to keep saying this because there's no quote unquote perfect child. The stereotypical girl next door that you see back in the day, teen movies from back in the day, she was definitely that perfect child. Brains, beauty, a heart of gold. She had to meow, as they describe Elizabeth Perry in Jawbreaker. She was cold on academics and in athletics. Like, you can't beat that. So after graduating, she had enrolled in Iowa State University. She knew that college was going to be expensive at Iowa State, so she made sure that she got a job at the coolest place on earth. Fresh out of high school, like, that would have been a bum job. I would have definitely loved to have that job once I graduated high school. Who wouldn't want to be a teenager working at Disney? And back in the day, this was in the 70s, so you can get a summer job and it will pay for college, especially in this day and age. So, like, it was a norm for my parents to be able to graduate high school, work during the summer, and make enough to pay for tuition or a majority of it for the school year. Inflation. So she ended up getting a job at Disneyland.
Disneyland's newest attraction, America Sings, is about to start, and I don't want to miss that.
Disneyland's 54th major attraction, America Sings. Here goes.
Unlike a lot of Disney rides at the time, where the workers were behind the scenes just operating, whatever the function may be at the time, this one was more kind of like hands-on. They had hosts and hostess, which were normally pretty upbeat, and it's said to be normally attractive teenagers. They were upbeat and always there to like interact and greet. They give you very much that Disney-esque attitude, you know, that personality, that upbeat.
Bye-bye. Bye. Okay.
Very cheery personality types, right? To greet the guests and to interact with them while things were changing. As I stated before, this American Scenes was a new attraction. The previous attraction where the amphitheater was used and as well as the rotating stages was called the Carousel of Progress. So this was the 70s. So y'all know how whether it may be Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz Pizza or whatever kind of like childhood theme party places, a lot of them have the animatronics. When they're on the stage in the band, when they're doing the robot, all that. This is around the time like animatronics was really becoming a big thing. They were debuting the attraction America Sings, which was filled with, it was an automated musical show that paid tribute to America's musical history. So the Carousel of Progress moved clockwise, and the host would be towards the end on the left side. So when the host would move out of the way, they could possibly at worst just hit the wall. So you go to each station, each different room, and the stage, and it lasts about like 24 minutes each. Now keep this in mind because this is going to play a big part later. To American Sings, the stage now move counterclockwise from the audience. So the host or hostess that was on the left, instead of possibly jumping down, not enough time hitting the wall, since they were going two different directions, could possibly, well, you'll see. For Deborah's shift, she called her parents, and apparently her fiance had proposed to her, and she wanted to make sure that she got her parents' permission before she got engaged. She was excited, she was ecstatic, and her mom stated though she felt as though she was losing her baby girl, but she was happy for her because she knows she was also going to college. Now she's getting engaged, also to be married. She was growing up. You know, mom was just getting used to it. So a little later, around 10:30 p.m., that show got over and the stages were shifting. I guess from another room, while it was changing, he heard somebody screaming, like blood screaming. And he reported to the workers. It's not said to how long they may have heard the screaming, and possibly with all the music playing in the different rooms, they probably thought it was, a lot of people reportedly thought it was a part of the act. When they kept hearing the screams, the guests as well as the workers ran to where they was hearing the scream. And unfortunately, y'all, they found Debbie crushed in between the two. She was crushed in the wall. Now, it's speculated different things of how it happened. However, we know the result is still the same, and unfortunately, a young lady lost her life. So the news of the tragedy went through the park fast. They knew that one of their colleagues was in an accident, a severe accident, but they didn't know who. A lot of employees were growing sick, trying to figure out which one of their co-workers / friends possibly lost their life, and a few moments later, most of them found out that it was Debbie. Around 2 o'clock in the morning, Debbie's parents, Bill and Marilyn, received a phone call from one of their neighbors on another street, and they were basically saying that the authorities were looking for them, trying to contact them. Bill said her father, that not too long after he hung up the phone, he saw the cops pull up. One of the articles I read was probably like in 2004. Nobody ever wants to get their car. Nobody ever wants officials to show up at their home saying that they have lost their child. It's really horrible. I would never want to experience that. I wouldn't want anyone to experience that their child has lost their life while at work. The family was in shock. Bill and Marilyn were in shock. Also stated that after they came to, one of the first things is that Bill, thank God for allowing him 18 years with his daughter. I'm more of a let live and let live type person when it comes to religion. Whatever you do to make you feel comfortable, I'm all for, as long as it's not hurting anybody. That is something to really admire, that in that time of loss, that her father felt as though it was a time to be grateful that he had 18 years with his daughter. While doing my research and I've read that, that's what put the nail in the coffin. I had to do a story on her because I feel as though Marilyn also stated that 3 months before, while Debbie was receiving all these admission letters from colleges, that she kind of felt that her daughter was getting ready to leave and never come back because she was preparing to go to college, and she felt as though that this was a way of God preparing her for Debbie's death. And she said that not that it made it easy, but it definitely made it easier as far as preparing for last days with her daughter. Marilyn Stone also stated that the night before, she saw a program on television with the minister who had a daughter who was also 18, who passed a year previously. She felt as though that there were signs there. In hindsight, she thinks it was some kind of way of the powers that be were preparing her for the untimely passing of her daughter. Debbie's father, Bill, stated that it was hard for him. And again, this is a stand-up guy, y'all. And he said one of the hardest things that he had to do in life the next morning was to call her fiance and let him know what had happened. Although the Stones did not blame Disney for Debbie's death, they followed suit, and it wasn't for money. It was more so to make sure the proper changes and modifications were made to prevent this happening again. After this event, the ride was closed for 2 days. However, the portion where Debbie worked was closed for the remainder of the year. Now, the safety precautions and safety measures that they provided and updated, one included sensor lights to alert employees or individuals if they were too close to the edge or where the walls would be changing with each other. Also, they took out the hard walls and they installed breakaway walls. Now, I don't know how true this is, but I did read one of the engineers basically said before all of this happened, while they were updating the attraction, that this is basically an accident waiting to happen. And sometimes in those situations, again, this is all alleged. Sometimes in those situations that if you push back against like the management and the powers that be, like they can definitely make your life a living hell. So he definitely made it known. He was told to basically shut up and do what you get paid to do. And unfortunately, the night when the accident happened, he was one of the first individuals that were employed by Disney to come to the scene. I always say this, it pays to have so many different hats at the table. Diversity is important, not just for representation, because that's important as well, but the way of thinking. When they say 2 heads are better than 1, just imagine what 12 heads could possibly provide and prevent. America Sings, the attraction remained open all the way to 1988. The building became obsolete and it was closed. It wasn't until 1998 that Amphitheater was renovated and refurbished for a new attraction called Enchantment. It is said that the Stone family did receive settlement. It doesn't say the amount. He said that even after the suit, that Disney still remained very, very kind and compassionate with them. Marilyn would say that employees of Disney would stop by, some of her co-workers would constantly stop by up to 10 years afterwards. That an official from Disney, she didn't know what capacity she worked in, but would come to the house around Christmas time to sit with them. And not only just people affiliated with Disney, but so many of her friends, community members, church members have definitely have been just undying support, just pouring support to the family. They also found a letter from a friend of Debbie's that basically Debbie was helping him. He had a substance abuse issue. Unfortunately, it was through her death that he had the epiphany and it gave him what he needed to kick his habit. And it sucks that a life had to be lost for all these extra safety precautions to be put in place, for other individuals to be having a second chance in life. One of the spokesmen from the Disneyland Resort said that they offered their condolences, said our sympathies are basically loosely with the Stone family. The safety of our guests remain top priority. Even to this day, Disney hasn't done anything inside the park to honor Debbie.
Bitch, I know you lie.
Which Personally, I think that they could, even if it's something called, I don't know, Debbie's directions, as far as like guidelines, safety guidelines. Even you could name one of the princesses after Deborah. Like, there's so many things that could be done. Even matter because the community members and a lot of Debbie's classmates, a lot of the accused who were still in high school, from the juniors to the freshmen, all came together with the trust fund and called it the Deborah Stone Award. And each year they would give the award to a student that emulated everything that Debbie did. And it was going 25 years after Debbie had passed. So it says, again, it says a lot about her character. It was stated in an article when a question was asked by the person who was interviewing Bill and Marilyn Stone, stated if Debbie was still here, what do you think she was doing? Bill stated that I think that she would be a teacher. I think in some capacity, I think that she will be helping someone. And then not only she be a teacher, she also be a swim coach because she loved helping people. She loved teaching, and she was very athletic. So I definitely could see. I mean, I don't know, and I feel as though like I know, even though it's limited information. But again, if you guys want to research it yourself, her classmates or people that know her, there were all kind of words about Debbie. So another reason why this is important to continue this woman's legacy and the importance of remembering not how people died, but also how they lived as well. Bill and Marilyn still live in, well, at the time on the article I read, they still lived in Santa Ana. Their 4 sons, of course, are grown, and they have several grandchildren. Marilyn said another important takeaway is to make sure that the relationships that you have with individuals are always right, because you never know. And she's right, you never know. Both parents said that they never had an issue out of their daughter. She was the type of daughter that people prayed for. I say this all the time. A lot of things start at home. And normally when people say that, they always refer to the negative things, even like when we're covering those certain killers on this channel. It is a time that we get to actually highlight the good things that had a lot to do with the parenting that she had. Like, she came from love. She led with love. That's why it's important to remember Deborah Stone, how she lived, and not solely the tragic way that she died. There was a story of Debbie Stone. It's a story that needs to be told. I want to definitely memorialize her. I wanted her story to be told again. With this channel, what I try to do here at Tales from the Crib, I always try to educate. Try to educate and make people aware, honestly, of the world that we live in. Unfortunately, it's not a harmonious place. I feel as though when knowledge is applied, knowledge is power. So many times on true crime channels, I personally feel that the victims don't get as much empathy as they should. Their stories are often not told. So I'm gonna make sure going forward that with stories that I do and with information that's available, because you know the internet, you can't trust anything and everything. You got to research and research. That I try to also provide attention and awareness to a lot of the victims. And at the crib, you know, it ain't about if you like the story. However, hit the thumbs up if you got your knowledge up today. Always remember, baby, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Uno out. Rufus. My road dog say what's up, Rufus. Alright. Hold on. Alright, hold on. Where's my red cup at? We'll check this out. Animatronics. I hope I'm saying it right. Animatronics. And when they're doing the robot, all that, which is crazy because hold on, look at my ears. Now the dip. Hold on, y'all. This is my mama. Oh, hold on. No, this is it. Okay. And American Sings is an automated musical, so it was an automated musical with all things and all. Oh no, out.